You know what time it is. Time to hang out with Mr. Coop. With Mr. Cooper. With Mr. Cooper. With Mr. Cooper. Get the latest scoop. From Mr. Cooper. From Mr. Cooper. From Mr. Cooper. Hang with Mr. Coop. With Mr. Cooper. With Mr. Cooper. With Mr. Cooper. Get the latest scoop. From Mr. Cooper. From Mr. Cooper. Yeah.
Welcome to the Big Scoop with Coop. I'm your host, Coop. Big shout outs to everyone that's listening on Apple Podcasts, Pandora, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, wherever you're listening to. Big shout outs to you. If you want to catch the video version of this show, make sure you go to my website to catch full episodes at thebigscoopwithcoop.com. Also on YouTube at youtube.com/thebigscoopwithcoop. You can also catch a 15-minute preview of this episode right here on Instagram at Big Scoop with Coop. All right, people, enough about me. Today's guest, this actor, he is starting his career. He's going to be skyrocketing, people. He is actually doing big things, and you actually about to catch him in the new movie, Juliet and Romeo. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the one and only Alex Grech. Now, Alex is going to talk about his career, traveling, Juliet and Romeo, and more. So make sure you sit back and relax and enjoy this episode of The Big Scoop with Coop with Alex Grech.
Thank you so much, Coop. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate you having me on.
Of course, of course. How's your day going so far?
Yeah, fantastic. I'm in the UK at the moment, so it's just past 11:30. Day has been fantastic. I've enjoyed, unseasonably good weather here while I've been here. It's been fabulous.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm in the United States, so I'm in North Carolina. So we're finally getting that spring/summer weather. Allergies been killing me, but guess what? I'd rather have this than the winter any day. I'm just letting you know right now. So I'm loving this right now. Definitely loving it. Yes.
Yeah, no, incredibly fair. I actually am based in New York and I'm just out here for some PR and stuff for the film. And I'm very excited to get back to that New York City summer.
I feel you on that, Alex. That's what I'm talking about. Now, Alex, like I told everybody before, man, your career is shooting off. You're starting off good with Juliet and Romeo. We're going to talk about that later on. But first, for the people that's getting introduced to you for the first time, when did you first realize that you wanted to become an actor?
Yeah. I love this question because there's a bit of a two-pronged answer. I started acting when I was about 6 years old with a group in Australia, in Victoria, the state I'm from, which was called the Victoria Youth Theatre. And I started acting with them predominantly because I have an older brother. And as with any, younger, older sibling relationship, anything he did, I was like, I need to pursue this and, kind of prove my mettle at it. So that's like what got me into acting, and I've kind of continued to do it throughout my life. When I graduated high school, I took, a significant portion of time away from things, worked, in the paralegal field as a laborer, as a bartender, saved up some money, did some traveling. And it was during that period that I was like, you know what, I think I'm ready to truly commit myself to this craft as a lifelong career and a lifelong pursuit. And that was a bit of a dream come true. And everything since that choice is, I've been very fortunate that it's gone the way it has.
And you know what, Alex, I'm glad you brought that up because I do want to talk about that also. You started with acting and you went over to paralegal. Now, how hard was it for you to shift over from hanging up your acting hat to start the paralegal work and also being a bartender?
Yeah, honestly, the drinking age in Australia is 18. So I got out of high school and was right behind the bar. And I loved that. I'd developed a bit of a love for mixing cocktails, and that's something I still love. And definitely living in New York is while it's a pricey hobby to have. I do love going and checking out the the great little speakeasies around town. Whenever I'm traveling, that's one of the favorite things. So yeah, bartending was always just this social engagement of it. Like, not that it's the same as a performance, but it requires a certain level of energy. It requires a certain social battery as well. And it was something that I gained a lot of energy from, whereas it can be incredibly draining if that's not the kind of thing you're into. That was definitely an easier transition than the paralegal work, for sure.
And you know, Allison, I tell people, everybody can't be a bartender. Because I learned at an early age, when somebody say, oh, I know how to mix drinks. I'm like, okay. And I was young and dumb. And I let a certain person mix a drink for me. And I told myself, never, ever, ever again. If you don't know what you're doing, do not pour me a drink. And I mean, and I'm not, no lie, Alice. The first person, this is how I experienced it, were they mix a dark with a light. And then they want to squeeze some lime in it to make it look all professional.
That will make it better. Yeah, that'll fix it. That'll fix everything.
I told myself, I'm never drinking your drink ever again. And that's what I'm talking about.
I think that's a very safe call, man. I think that's a very safe call.
Yes. Now, like you said earlier also, you know, you travel around the globe. You traveled this world, global experience. What are some of the places that you went to, and what are some of the places that you wish you could have stopped at when you did your travel?
Yeah. I spent a little over a month in Nepal and did a lot of hiking while I was there, about 7-8 days of hiking through the Langtang National Park, and had my highest summit, which was just over 6,000 meters. And that was an incredible experience. I'm someone who has always really loved hiking. I spent a lot of time in the outdoors when I was much younger and all through my life, and kind of, still try to maintain as much as I can living in New York City, try to maintain a fairly regular habit of getting upstate for 3-day hikes or overnight solos, and doing that as much as I can. I love snow hiking as well. I think there's something incredibly rewarding to the kind of solitude you can find in the bush, in the wilderness.
Yep.
And that's only sort of extended in extreme conditions where, you're essentially going to be the only one out on the trail. So yeah, I've always found that deeply rewarding, and something that very much, when city life is getting a little bit stressful and it feels like the walls can be closing in sometimes, being able to get into the outdoors and, really have some time for yourself is a truly incredible experience. And I recommend that to absolutely everyone. So Nepal was incredibly fulfilling in that respect. I spent about 2 months in New York, where I was actually visiting my cousin at the time, and was kind of figuring out if this was somewhere I thought I could live. And it turns out it absolutely could be. So during that period, I auditioned at NYU, and, that 2-month period, shaped the preceding 5-6 years. So I don't think I realized how important that 2-month period was until it had passed, until, I could apply a bit of hindsight. Somewhere I wish I'd got to spend more time is Switzerland, and, explore a bit more, a bit further up into Scandinavia. The only issue is the Swiss franc is quite expensive, and something I didn't realize as, a young Australian traveler is that I would have to be transferring my currency from Australian dollar into euro into Swiss franc, and I was there for 48 hours, and it cost me more money than I care to speak about. It still hurts.
I feel your pain on that, and that's one thing. I have not traveled overseas yet, and that's what I'm scared about, because I'm scared I'm going to end up spending way more, because I'm calculating in my head, okay, something costs $3.99 right here in North Carolina, and it's really $2 or $1 over there, or it's $5 or $10 over there, and I'll be like, how do I do this? And if my phone die, for trying to do a calculation transfer or trying to calculate and convert it over, I'm screwed. Just give me my plane ticket.
Yeah.
I'm going right back home. I even break myself. I already know myself. So, man, congrats to you, Alex, man. You deserve this, man. Keep traveling around the world. You're doing big things, and I love it, man. I definitely love it.
Thank you.
Now,
I appreciate it.
yes, yes, yes. Now, Alex, a lot of people don't know in this industry that they think they can just come into the television, movie, even theatrical industry and think it's just, let me recite a line. I walk on stage, I'm automatically will get this gig. I tell people all the time, in this industry, 100 no's will equal one yes. Now, have you ever experienced or seen anyone that you know personally that has went through that felt like that, hey, I can actually get this thing just by walking on, and then they get a no and they shell shock?
Yeah. To be honest with you, I started acting on stage at a very young age, and never really expected that things would just work. I wouldn't describe myself as a pessimistic person at all. But one of my like favorite little like life mottos that I share with like some of my closest friends is win some, lose most. And it's not, it's not as pessimistic as it initially sounds. It's kind of rooted in the concept of like you'll miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So you've got to put yourself out there for everything, but understanding that the majority of things aren't for you. But you'll never find those right paths unless you put yourself in the way of them. And it's kind of built on this idea of like, you can only really have as much knowledge as you expose yourself to. So you have to go out and seek new experiences in order to kind of learn more about yourself and more about what will fulfill you and make you happy and, guide your life where you want it to go. So yeah, I've never stepped into a room and been like, man, I've absolutely got this. I'm amazed that some actors like have that level of confidence. I'm kind of jealous of it. I wish that was my life, but like, no, I'm a fairly anxious person. Like, I'm never stepping into a room like I'm absolutely gonna crush this. It's always like, oh, I could do, this or this or this, and like you just have to make choices and commit to them, and you'll find out in hindsight if they were right or not. That's neither here nor there. Hindsight will always be 2020.
That's true. That's true. Ladies and gentlemen is watching worldwide right now. I hope you're taking in everything Alex is saying. If you want something in life, you got to go for it. You can't just sit there and look at it and say, hey, I believe I can do this. If you don't put your hand to it, you don't know what you're going to be able to do. So stop sitting there just looking at it. Get up and go do what you're trying to do. Not right now, because you're watching this interview. After this interview, get your butt up, try to reach your goals, what you're trying to do, and make sure you reach out as hard as you can, as far as you can to get to where you need to get to. Now, Alex, let's talk about this, man. Whoo! Juliet and Romeo. This is something that's big, that's going down. And I think a lot of people don't understand how big this is going to be. And you guys have two different premieres that's going on, one in the US and one in the UK. We'll get that in a second. But I got to ask, man, how excited were you to receive your role in Juliet and Romeo?
Yeah, I was absolutely ecstatic. As an up and coming actor, as someone who's still kind of developing their career, it was such an honor to be given this opportunity, genuinely. To be able to work alongside actors who I've grown up seeing both in film and on stage, people like Jason Isaacs and Derek Jacobi and Rebel Wilson, like just a truly, truly incredible kind of principal cast. And then meeting some of the younger actors who, I hadn't really come across in my early career, people like Clara and Jamie, Nicholas and Ferdia, and Max and Zach, like genuinely all of them were so incredible to work with and really inspiring to be surrounded by people who, were committed to kind of building this life, choosing a path that is by no means easy. So yeah, and their commitment to the film was admirable, to say the least. So yeah, I absolutely loved the process and was overjoyed when I was offered the role. And the fact that production were willing to work with me to help me do a lot of my own stunts and get the training that was necessary in order to ensure that that could be done safely. It was fantastic to kind of be given that level of trust and prove that I was worth it.
That's what I'm talking about. So tell everybody about your role. I believe you had the role of Tommaso, correct? And I probably
Tommaso.
Tommaso,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, well I get the chuff from Tommaso. I don't even know why I said chuff. But anyway, Tommaso.
You just gotta Italianize it. Italianize all the names.
You're right. You know what? I will start working on that because I do want to start working on other languages. So I've been practicing on that. So you're right about that. And that's what I will start doing. Now, Tommaso, he is supposed to be the cousin of Romeo. Am I correct?
Yes, the younger cousin of Romeo. At the start of the film, he's very warlike, very, quick to anger, completely committed to upholding these sort of family values. Absolutely admires his adoptive cousin, Mercutio. And, over the course of the film, we kind of watch Tommaso struggle with the conflict of family values and family heritage and his own like dreams and kind of individuality and seeking things for himself. And he's really inspired by Romeo's passion to pursue those ideas more.
Wow, that's crazy. So, Alex, last week I had Dennis Andreas on the show, and he's part of
Yes.
Romeo also. And he was telling everybody about how the stage is, how it is. It's like you're in a different lifestyle. Like it's a whole totally different world when you're up there. So tell everybody with you, what was your personal experience, with the cast and also being around how the stages were set up and everything. I know the cameras were in front of you at the time. You all were shooting and everything, but what was going through your mind when you first laid eyes on the set?
Yeah. So the production design was led by Dante Ferretti, who, Oscar nominated, absolutely incredible, like an incredible artist. The man still works with, pastels to like do all his sketches. And it's like what he was able to create in terms of this vibrant set that really just came to life with all the colors and costumes and extras. Being able to shoot on location as well made a massive difference. You're in period accurate or near period accurate castles that are then dressed by Dante Ferretti to be, as kind of like obviously with a little bit of film vibrance, but as period accurate as possible. It made the job of the actor much, much easier in terms of the world was laying before you and all you had to do was sort of commit to stepping on into it.
Wow. That's crazy. And I told Dennis also, I've been in a couple of indie films in my life, but if I could have actually been in that professional production where you was in and doing that, Juliet and Romeo, I will tell you, like I told Dennis, I would probably have a purity fool. I'm not gonna lie. I probably would have been like blown away from everything. So it's probably best they didn't cast me or I even tried out for it because they'll be like, you know what, you're too excited, get off the set. That's what they probably would have said to me. I want to say congratulations to you, the whole cast, the crew. There's big things that's going down with this. And ladies and gentlemen that's watching worldwide, I'm gonna let you know, go on YouTube, look at the trailer of this movie. You're going to see what we're talking about right now. This is something that's really big. The US is about to experience it. The UK is about to experience it. This is going to be a worldwide phenomenon. Make sure you take your family out there. Also, take your friends and your associates. And guess what? If you have any haters, take them too. They're going to want to see this movie also. Make sure you check out everything that's going on. Now, right now, how was it when the cameras wasn't rolling with the cast? Was like one big happy family? How was it for you in your experience?
Yeah, I had an incredible experience both on and offset with this project. Because it was predominantly night shoots in the Italian winter. It was, it could feel like long nights. They were long, cold nights for cast and crew alike. But the beauty of it is it was such a tight knit community that amongst cast and crew, everyone was meeting in the hotel foyers before and after set, going to the same restaurants, hanging out together. I mean, it was quite a tight knit, bonded community, and I was really grateful for that, particularly for one of my first experiences on a project of this scale. Being able to know that there was a little bit of a support network. You could go talk to your co-stars and chat about the day and kind of talk things out for tomorrow, or have breakfast together, or go share a quiet beer on an afternoon off. So yeah, that made a world of difference to me.
That's what I'm talking about. And I don't want to sound like a parrot or a mockingbird, but I got to say it again. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, worldwide, keep your eyes out for Juliet and Romeo. These people have put their heart into it, their sweat, their body, their tears. They put everything into this movie. This is one movie you do not want to miss. If you have any kids that love Shakespeare, if you have any people that don't even love Shakespeare, you want a good musical, you want a good movie that you can sit back and relax and enjoy, this is the one that you want to check out. Make sure you check it out. Now, also, Alex, do you know what dates these are they're releasing?
Yeah, so the US release is May 9th, and then the UK release is June 11th.
Wow. Hey, my people in the
UK. It's coming up fast, man. Coming up fast.
Wow. That's what I'm talking about. My people in the UK, make sure you get your tickets. You do not want to miss this. The peeps in the US, you already know what to do. Get your tickets. See, can you pre-order these tickets? I'm telling you guys, hear it from Coop. You don't miss this one. Definitely don't miss this one. Now, Alex, is there any other projects that you're working on that you want the world to know about, or you're planning to work on sooner or later after Juliet and Romeo?
Yeah, honestly, while I'm kind of working on settling in New York and setting up a bit more of a life there, there's a lot of kind of theatrical work that I haven't had as much time recently to commit to, and that's something I'm really looking forward to diving back into, is giving back to the theater community in New York, and working on a few of my own projects. But there's also quite a few independent films, independent short films, real passion projects, things that are driven by people who really care, who really have a passion to be creating, and that's something that strikes a chord with me, and always will. So yeah, giving back to those particular communities is something I'm really, really excited to get back into.
Wow. Now, I'm glad you brought it up real quick, Alex. I want you to mention this because a lot of people probably don't understand this. How big is the theatrical community in New York?
Oh man, staggering. Particularly as someone who comes from Australia, where the theatre scene is most certainly alive, but nowhere near as vibrant as even somewhere like Maine. So it was definitely a big culture shock for me when I first moved over. But something that is so incredibly vibrant and full of such passion that it had me hooked from the get-go. So yeah, I think that like a lot of kind of historically staple theatrical scenes, like even like the London West End, mm-hmm. It's full of so much new material constantly that you need to keep your head on a bit of a swivel, and be ready to dive into anything. You never really know what amazing story or storyteller you could bump into next.
Wow. My people in New York, NJ, anywhere that's close around, man, support the New York theatrical community. This thing is big, it's still going, it's going to continue to go. Make sure you go and support whenever you can. You want to see some fresh talent, you want to see some experienced talent at the same time, check out the NY community. I guarantee you're going to see some people that's going to blow your mind. Make sure you do that. Now, Alex, for everybody to keep up with you on the latest and greatest, what is the best way for everybody to follow you on social media?
Yeah, honestly, you can find me on Facebook, but Instagram is at Alex Grech 22. I love that because I've had it since I was a young kid and never really thought that social media would, end up being a platform that played a role in my career and my life. But here we are, in 2025. So this is how this boat rolls. So yeah, Instagram, Alex Grech 22. That's most certainly the best way to reach me.
That's what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen worldwide. Make sure you follow Alex on social media. You want to keep up with him? Hey, follow him. You never know. Is he gonna post something with Juliet and Romeo up there? You never know. The NY Theatrical.
Oh, absolutely, man.
See, you better follow this man. You don't know what he's about to post. And he's probably gonna have some big things that's coming up soon. So make sure you follow him. Go follow him right now. No. Don't follow him right now. You watching this interview once again. After this interview, you make sure you go click those follow buttons and follow him everywhere he's doing. Because he's doing big things and big things are more coming for him. Now, Alex, is the last segment of the show. It is called Take the Floor. You have up to 2 minutes to say whatever you want. No questions asked. Alex, take the floor.
Okay. Well, I have a real kind of passion in my work, as in my personal life, for kind of promoting the use of theater to help extend awareness for mental health and neurological health in general. It's something that has played a very big role in kind of shaping my life and the person I am today. And I think that if there's work happening near you that can teach you about experiences that are alternative to your own life experience, that is absolutely something that you should try to engage with. As we spoke about earlier, man, your knowledge can really, only extend as far as a lot of the experiences you go and put yourself in front of. So if you have a chance to be introduced to something, particularly through the means of art, whether it be visual or performance-based or whatever medium, that's absolutely something that I recommend everyone goes and seeks out for themselves. I know I advertise hiking and getting in the outdoors, but that's not always the easiest thing for people. But finding some form of art, whether it be, you're accessing it online or accessing it in person, showing your support for it and engaging with it is absolutely worth your while.
Wow. You heard it here first, people. Make sure you stay fit. Keep moving. You want to make sure your blood is pumping. Stay healthy. Keep doing something that's going to find your passion. You heard Alex. He's doing a lot of things. He's even down with, I didn't even talk about it, but he's a hardcore fitness person also, besides just hiking and everything. Yeah. Also. So yeah, Alex, I know about you, man. I definitely know about you. So make sure, people, that you do follow Alex on social media. Make sure you watch Juliet and Romeo. Make sure you check out the NY theatrical community. I can't stress that enough. And make sure, once again, social media is the way, people. Make sure you follow them up there. Now, Alex, I enjoyed you being on the show, and I would love to have you back on in the future.
That sounds fantastic, man. This has been a brilliant, brilliant experience. I've loved this. Love this. Thank you so much, Coop. Really appreciate you, mate.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, my next guest on the Big Scoop with Coop is, that's my next guest. You better follow me on social media at the Big Scoop with Coop to find out the latest and greatest of who's coming on next. Once again, Juliet Romeo. Once again, follow them on social media. Once again, New York community, theatrical community. Big shout outs to all of you all. Make sure you follow them also. All right, people. Until the next time on the Big Scoop with Coop. Peace.